And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Welcome to the Dice Tower!
Yes, welcome. I'm Tom Vasel and this is Holly. And today we're talking about a stacking game. Stacking games are a lot of fun. That's the popularity of Jenga, which is the ultimate stacking game, I suppose. But this is one that's targeted towards children, and it's Animal Upon Animal from HABA Games. And in it, you are stacking a variety of different animals. You start with your good old crocodile. After that, you'll be placing animals like the sheep, or the monkey, or the toucan, or a hedgehog, or the lizard, and then finally the snake. And you'll be taking these animals and stacking them on top of this crocodile, trying not to make them fall off. Let's show you a little bit about how the game works. One more animal is the penguin, and so you have 7 different animals at the beginning of each game. Each player gets 7 animals in front of them. The alligator or crocodile is placed in the middle of the table, and you roll a die. Let's say, for example, I just rolled a 1. That means I need to put 1 animal on top of the crocodile. So I put here the monkey. Now you roll the die. Okay, let's say she rolls the hand. That allows her to give me a piece, and I have to put that piece on. So give me a piece, and then I have to put this piece on. She gives me the sheep, and so I'll try and put the sheep on. I'm so bad at this. Whenever you make pieces fall off, you have to keep up to 2 of them. In this case, there only is 2, so these 2 come in front of me. Otherwise, if there had been, let's say, 3 or 4 pieces that fall off, I caused the whole thing to collapse, I would have to put the extra ones in the box, which is good, because you don't want someone to get 16 pieces in front of them for knocking over the whole thing. So as the game progresses, you usually will be rolling 1 or 2 dots, which means you need to put on 1 or 2 animals as the game progresses. Occasionally, you'll roll the alligator itself, which means you need to put an animal next to the alligator, which helps build the base upon which everything else is. Sometimes you'll roll the question mark. When you roll that, the other players tell you what to place on the structure. So, of course, depending on how mean everybody is, they're going to try and pick animals that you have a hard time placing. If you notice, the shape of the animals keeps you from putting, really, the shapes don't really mesh together that well, and that's deliberate. It's difficult to stack things up. And with 4 players, there is a lot of animals in the mix. In fact, if once you get to know the game well, you can play with 2 players, and each player will have 14 animals to start. You can also play that when animals fall off, you keep up to 5 of them. And when you're down to 1 animal, you don't roll the die. You simply just have to put that animal on the pyramid without making the whole pyramid fall over. It's a very colorful game. The animals are fun to stack, but they're very difficult to stack. It's not an easy dexterity game. It's not like square blocks put on each other, and yet the kids don't mind because the pyramid seems to fall so much. And I guess you could even, the rules mention that you could play your own version just trying to get everything on top yourself. But eventually, that pyramid is going to fall. And then everyone laughs and you take a few animals and we continue. As soon as one player has no animals left in front of them, they win the game. The quality of the components are tremendously high. All the different pieces are wooden pieces with different colors so that they're easy to differentiate from each other. Very much different shapes. The snake is very different than the sheep, and they're chunky, easy for kids to handle. The kids are going to like the idea of animals stacking on top of each other. And I have to admit, I find it fun too. I mean, adults could play this game with each other because it's not the easiest dexterity game as stacking these animals. The die adds a bit of randomness in the game, but it's really not that bad because you're going to put 1 or 2 pieces on likely, unless you're lucky enough to get the hand, and then you'll give the piece to someone else. Likely someone who's winning and a piece that's difficult for them to get on. So the game is a bit self-correcting there in case one player is an expert stacker. You have a hard piece, you have no idea how you're going to get it on. I got the hand. Here, Joe, why don't you put this piece on since you're so good at it? Anyway, it's fun. Kids are going to play with it. The toy factor is high. It's a good dexterity game, and I recommend you try it out.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.